Another top AEW star has been pulled from All In at Wembley. An AEW faction has possibly been disbanded on Dynamite last night, and a WWE fan files a bizarre lawsuit against Vince McMahon. Stay tuned for the news. So you can find out all about all the matches that are getting advertised for All In the previous video we did today, but we've got some people that are not going to be at All In. Unfortunately, on Dynamite, the Blackpool Combat Club revealed that Pac would not be able to complete at All In due to an injury. It's a real shame because he's one of their biggest British stars.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think this really sucks. This obviously comes off the news that Bryan Danielson won't be able to be there, but also fellow Brit Jamie Hayter is not gonna be able to compete either. I just think it's really terrible luck.
It really is. Like, you would imagine that Pac would have had a big featured spot.
Yeah,
like he's one of the most exciting members of the roster, one of the members of the roster that doesn't get utilized nearly as much as he should. And it felt like with him being brought back for Blood and Guts and getting the stuff with Blackpool Combat Club, they were building up that to have a big moment for him on the show.
No doubt.
And it is just very unfortunate timing. It was later confirmed by the Lucha Bros with Alex Abrahantes, who told Renee Paquette that they would get vengeance for Pac, their fellow Death Triangle member. So maybe, at least maybe on the silver lining of it, his injury will set up a big match for the Lucha Brothers, who right now I couldn't see maybe a way onto the show for them. But
no,
maybe now
that's
that
fair.
they've got a spot.
Maybe, I guess so. And maybe Pac was going to be involved in that stuff anyway, obviously. But I just think it's such a shame because a lot of people. I think he would have done something really special. I think there would have been a big moment there for Pac. Not necessarily winning gold or anything like that, but I think he would have done something memorable. I hope he gets well soon.
And he would get the hometown pop. But these injury fears for Pac came to light last week on Rampage. Tony Schiavone said Pac would be out of action for quite a while, which he's been out of action since I think it was January until July. He had maybe a couple matches in the independent scene, I think one for OTT.
And then with their visa issues as well, they kept him away for a bit.
And it feels like this year it's very likely he'll not be back for quite some time based on what Tony Schiavone's saying, and it's just kind of stalled his momentum. As you said, he's one of the big British names. He's one of the top guys, and we don't know when AEW will be back for a show as big as Wembley, if they will ever have a show as big as Wembley, and it's a shame Pac's missed
That's
out.
it. Don't get me wrong, I'm gutted not to be able to see Pac wrestle on the show and everything, but I'm more gutted for him not being able to perform in a historic show. This is something that you probably only get to do once. Like Bryan Danielson, and I guess Pac as well, they've done WrestleManias before, big attendances and that. Jamie Hayter, that sucks for her massively as
I hope she gets to make an appearance alongside Tony Storm for the Triple Threat, or Britt Baker, I should say, alongside the triple in the Fatal 4-Way match that we spoke about earlier on. But again, it's not actually competing on the show. It is a real shame. But we're going to stick with injuries for just a second because someone's back from an injury. In fact, Madison Rayne returned after 4 months on the bench last night at Dynamite, competing in a dark match against Danny Moe before the cameras went live for Dynamite. While she wasn't competing, Rayne was continuing her role as a coach, and she's sort of been one of those people that AEW signed didn't really utilize in front of the camera, but is sort of a much needed boost for the women's division behind the scene, coaching and producing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a sensible role for her. It's not somebody that I'm desperately clamoring to see on TV every week is Madison Rayne. I really love it. Like the Beautiful People stuff in TNA Impact was just fantastic. Like she's great and everything, but at this point in her career, I think she's more useful backstage.
Absolutely. Again, but it's someone that then when we were talking about how the women's division needs more attention, she's someone that can bring that attention, can fill it out a little bit more. So it's not just the same few people that are getting one spotlight. You can spread the spotlight a little bit further, and hopefully this is part of it. But staying with AEW Dynamite, a faction disbanded last night. What's the story, Adam?
Absolutely. The Jericho Appreciation Society. They all stood in the ring, aired their grievances towards Chris Jericho on last night's Dynamite. They have had enough of Y2J flirting with and joining Don Callis, and the group seems to have broken up. So each member of the group cut impassioned promos on why they're done with Jericho before leaving. Garcia, first to walk, followed heartbreakingly by Jake Hager.
Poor guy.
Ty Conti, Anna Jay, Angelo Parker, Matt, Sammy, all gone shortly after Don Callis met with Jericho backstage about joining his family, and Jericho said he would give him an answer next week, so stay tuned. I think that, you know what, I'm surprised they lasted this long.
Really? Yeah, it's
been a while.
It feels, but at the same time, it's only just been just under a year since Sammy joined them again, and it's not been. It feels like the Inner Circle were around for not that long, and then the JAS is just dragged and dragged and dragged, and it's. kind of lost the charm for all of them. It kind of boosted them at the start. Like 2.0, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker didn't feel like a big deal before joining. Now they do, but since then they've not really had the spotlight. They've not been featured.
No.
And it is a shame that Jericho's, I don't want to say like his star power for that sort of thing is fading, but he just needs to keep reinventing himself a little bit more frequently. For this Jericho Appreciation Society thing, it's dragged.
I think it's dragged as well. If Jericho is obviously great at reinventing himself, nothing to worry about there. He can attach himself to something else, which is hot. And
sketch stuff. That'll be what it is. Don Cal. Oh, they're interesting.
He's fine. I'm not too bothered about them breaking up. Best of luck to all of them doing stuff moving forward. Yeah, especially Jake Hager. This has been like a
big guy.
Yeah, like in a bit of a, I don't want to say career resurgence. Maybe that's overstating it
I would say
but
so.
He's been fun, hasn't he? He's been a good laugh. And he's enjoyable to watch, and hopefully they give him something to do. You know what? I've grown to like him a lot. Considering
when AEW started, he's not the first name that would jump to your head of getting signed and being featured in one of the sort of bigger roles, and he's absolutely smashed it. The thing with the bucket hat was really funny earlier this year. It was entertaining.
He's a good laugh, isn't he?
And he's solid in the ring for when he needs to, and it's just been, he's got good chemistry with Jericho. It'll be interesting to see what he does without Jericho, and that's kind of a worry, is were some of these talents only getting the spotlight because they were with Jericho, or will they get pushed? That's the worry, yeah, right?
I think they were.
I think Daniel Garcia's finally got that character with the dancing. They can push that. The rest of them, I'm a little bit apprehensive about the future without Jericho. Be all right. But we'll see going forward. But sticking with AEW just now, the Young Bucks have discussed retirement, which is not something I thought they'd be discussing right now after signing big, long contracts. But they spoke to the Swerve City podcast and discussed their future retirements from wrestling. Matt said, "For me, I think once I'm done in the ring, I'll never announce it. I'll never be like, oh, I'm retired. I'm just going to walk away and people are going to be like, whatever happened to that guy?" Which is a bit strange for the Young Bucks. The sort of...
Not what I expected. You'd think they'd have a big blowout, wouldn't you?
Confetti everywhere.
Yeah, right. And they will. He's talking bollocks.
Yeah, he's talking rubbish.
I don't believe him for a second.
Cashing in on the merch, t-shirts everywhere. Nick, however, admitted he would struggle leaving the business behind and mentioned the idea of starting his own independent promotion. Did he not just do that 5 years ago with AEW? But he said, he said it would be similar to PWG, but he did admit that he did try and buy PWG from Super Dragon at one point before, but was shot down. But it's an option that he's going to look at in the future again.
They'll be great. I mean, they're set for life now. EVPs and everything. They can just stick around at AEW even if they're not on screen. I don't see them going anywhere at all. I think they're made men, aren't they?
Absolutely. They were made men before they joined AEW, and that's I think Matt's taking the mick a little. I think when he does have a big retirement, it'll be chaotic. But going forward to AEW Full Gear, we finally got a date announced for that one. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful has confirmed that AEW Full Gear will take place at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California on November 18th, which is a Saturday. What airs on a Saturday, Adam?
Collision is on a Saturday.
It's on a Saturday night. What are they going to do? We don't know.
Back to back, right? They'll do it.
Think?
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
It's the first issue they've come across where they've got a Saturday show going ahead against their own show, and you would assume that it'd be on at the same time. So they might have to move Collision to another night. I'm sure we'll get some details about it, but
do they just do it a bit earlier? Do they do it all from the same venue and Collision essentially becomes the pre-show? Something like that.
They did it for Battle of the Belts.
Yeah.
So it could work for it. But I'm excited for Full Gear coming up in November. It's the one that's near my birthday.
At the Kia Aura Forum.
Maybe
Delicious.
I'll go to Los Angeles.
Yeah? You're off?
Yeah, I'm off.
See you in a bit.
Still moving over at WWE and a little bit of AEW stuff. Rhea Ripley's engaged to Buddy Matthews. Congratulations to the couple. They posted on Rhea's Instagram saying 1,000 times yes. Very nice. I'm sure Dominic Mysterio will have some words to say about that one.
I've got some words to say about this. Luckiest man in the world. Congratulations to him. It's lovely. They're really nice. They're really they seem to be truly in love.
They are, yeah.
And good on them. Beautiful pictures. Everything that Rhea posts.
Nice coastline in the background.
Yeah, lovely really scenery. Nice. The foreground is especially impressive.
Yeah. Buddy Matthews, great guy.
Yes, that's what I meant.
We're going to end on a lawsuit against the WWE. Now, this is a little bit of a bizarre one. It's not one that we'd expect when you hear lawsuits for WWE.
This is odd, isn't it? PW Insider revealing that a lawsuit's been filed against Vince McMahon and WWE before the United States District Court of the Western District of Pennsylvania. So Dana W. Wiley, in a handwritten letter to the court, is suing for alleged breach of contract and a failure to reimburse $5,500 as a down payment sent via WhatsApp for a personal meeting with Alexa Bliss, named in the letter as Alexia Bliss. The lawsuit also claims Vince McMahon breached an agreement for Wiley to become an employee of WWE for $70,000 per month. It also claims that McMahon discriminated against Wiley after Wiley was arrested and charged with attempted homicide and aggravated assault against a police officer in Newcastle, Pennsylvania last year. He says that he had his phone taken off him as a way of WWE covering up any evidence of the WhatsApp contract and Vince McMahon's job offer. He is seeking $6 million for breach of contract, as well as the reimbursement of all legal fees. No one's been served yet. Nobody's going to be served. It's going to be thrown out very, very quickly. Yeah. The guy's clearly not well, is he?
It seems that's sort of what it appears to be anyway. It's such a bizarre sort of story in the sense of like, when you, like I said, when you think lawsuits in WWE, you think it's going to be something that's grand legal issues.
Yeah,
but
well, this sort of stuff unfortunately happens all the time. I feel really sorry for him. Whatever he's going through is probably bad enough, but it sounds like he's being scammed by somebody pretending to be Alexa Bliss or Alexia Bliss. Unfortunately, these things are so common. If anyone watching this is a wrestling fan and engaged with wrestling media of some sort on Instagram, if you check your message request folder, you're probably going to have similar stuff to this. People pretending to be WWE superstars, trying to get cash out of people. I really, truly hope he didn't give $500. That's a horrible. If that's the case, people are horrible, man. Especially to do this to somebody who
it's absolutely taking advantage, and it's not a very nice story at all. And
we should have ended on Ria Ripley there, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should have.
Congratulations, Ria.
That's all we've got for you just now. Make sure you check out.
She's beautiful.
Check out Tom's interview with Jeff Jarrett later on today.
They had me any day.
She could, yeah. Give him a message.
See you in a bit.